Hello and welcome. I'm Lynn with Arrow Sewing, and today I'm going to show you where all the fun and creativity happens. Come on in. We'll explore the features and benefits and all the things you need to consider when choosing the right sewing table or cabinet for your needs. Next, we'll take a look at storage and organization and look at my favorite tools and equipment that I use for my projects. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll show you the most important part of my creative process. I'm just an ordinary person who loves to sew. I learned to sew over 50 years ago from my mother, and about 20 years ago the quilting bug hit. And from there I have learn from so many more people that are far more talented than myself. I go to retreats and I absorb all the knowledge from my fellow quilters, and at the same time I love to pass on what I have learned to others so that they can share in the passion of all things sewing and quilting. I have started on my dining room table when I first began this hobby, putting my machine out, taking it down when the kids needed to do their homework. I have graduated to a 8-foot banquet table that every time I would sew would shake. I have gotten into a sewing cabinet that didn't fit my sewing machine. So again, I was in that awkward position where I might have had storage, but my sewing machine was sitting so high I could start to feel it across my back, similar to when I was on the dining room table. And now I have dedicated sewing furniture that I would love to show you. Here at Arrow, I think I've sewn on almost every single cabinet that we've made here, and I really love them all. But at home, I gravitated toward the Kangaroo and Joy for a couple of different reasons. I love the amazing work surface that this cabinet offers me. Sometimes those projects can get very heavy, and it supports it on my left side as I push it toward the back, and then that quilt leaf will help support the bulk when I get it through the bed of my machine. The next thing, because I swear I'm the organizational queen, it has oodles of drawer space for me to put all my favorite tools and equipment that I need. So for those two reasons, I absolutely love the Kangaroo and Joy. But all of the cabinets offer my most favorite feature of all, and that is the flatbed sewing position. As I've aged, I've found that ergonomically it's much more important for me to be in this correct position so that I can sew for a lot longer. And that has proven to be the case for me. I never understood why some sewing machines have clocks. I do now. I will sew for hours without feeling a thing and get so engrossed in my projects that hours have passed and I'm like, where did that lunch go? Or, is it really time for supper? I just finished my coffee from breakfast. So anyway, I love the cabinet, the features that it offers you as far as storage and flatbed surface and amazing work surface. Here in studio, I sew on a Janome Skyline 6. It is a workhorse of a machine and I absolutely love it. At home, I have a Bernina that I use for travel. So you'll sometimes see me sewing on that in studio as well. The Bernina, I don't even know, it's so old, it's vintage. It is just like the Skyline 6, a workhorse of a machine. And it's lightweight and I can transport it everywhere. I do have a larger machine at home. We have a wonderful dealer in our area, a Baby Lock dealer. So I have an older machine, it's a Crescendo, but it has wonderful throat space. So that's where I'll do the majority of my straight line quilting or quilting. And then I also have, these are confession time. I also have sergers. I have two of them. One I use as an overlock. It's overlock only, it's not a fancy one. And then the second one is my cover stitch, which is what I use for hemming things that I have. So overlocker and cover stitch, those are kind of hand in hand. And then I have Featherweights. So any of you out there that love vintage sewing machines, I have really fallen in love with the vintage Featherweights. I learned how to take them apart and fix them because they were fascinating to me. So I do have a couple of Featherweights. In fact, at Arrow, Our president has one in his office. I think that's about it for my sewing machines. Oh, wait, another confession. I do have an embroidery machine. Oops.
How many featherweights do you have?
Ethan's asking me, how many featherweights do I have? All right. Ethan, okay. Back when the pandemic hit, I got interested in featherweights because they're just an engineering marvel, and I wanted to learn how to fix them. So I looked for some that really needed some tender, loving care, and I have 4 right now. And I can't promise I won't get more, but I have 4. The other piece of furniture that I find indispensable is our kiwi. Why? Well, I find the kiwi indispensable because my wonderful video director, producer, whatever we want to call Ethan, jack of all trades, likes to keep me on a timeline. And that's really hard. I often say it's like trying to herd cats, but this helps me save time when we are filming on camera. It holds our thread, so it has Aurifil thread in here, which I absolutely love. We do teach sewing classes here at Arrow for our employees. A lot of times this thread likes to grow feet and walk out of the studio. I have also brought my own iron because, again, I love this iron. It's cordless and I can just pick it up and I don't have cords in the way. So I have a label underneath there that I have tasked Ethan with. Ethan, this does not grow legs and walk out of the studio. So kiwi, it helps me stay on schedule. I do 90% of my block ironing and my cutting when I am working on a project. And you may have noticed the quilts that we have in the background. They are, 2 of them are mine and one of them is from Soback City out of College Station, Texas. So this one right here is from a Missouri Star pattern. If I had known it was going to end up on a wall at Arrow, I might have been a little bit more picky with my points and corners, but I thought it turned out pretty well. It was fun to do. I had an orphan charm pack, kind of looked through patterns, really like the one from Missouri Star, and I wish I could remember the name. I don't. I made it so many, a couple of years ago. So this is my charm square quilt, a little scrappy. I supplemented with some fabrics that I had from my stash. This one is from Soback City. I can't give credit to a pattern or who did it because I don't know, but we're really grateful for it because I think it's a really cool quilt. And then the last one over there is mine. It's a Robin Pickens pattern. I don't remember the name. That's the bad thing. The fabric I do remember, it's Carolina Lilies. And if you can tell from the 2 quilts on either side that are mine, my quilting tastes run the gamut. So whatever strikes my fancy, but they have found a home here at Arrow for the time being till I rescue them and bring them home with me. In studio, I have fallen in love with our cutting table, the Kookaburra. I have used every single square inch of this amazing table. Opened up, it is 70 inches, so I have cut all of my projects on here. I have put a pressing pad on and I've given my fabrics the initial press, their final press. I have used our AccuQuilt system on this table, laid it out, and run all my dies through and cut fabric with it. I have, oh gosh, Ethan, I think we actually have eaten lunch on this. The drawers hold a lot of the things that we need throughout the day when we are filming, and the shelves in the back are where I store my tools that I consider indispensable, because how you have your favorites when you're sewing and you just want to kind of grab them. So it's really nice to have familiarity. So my dollar store bin holds my favorite seam ripper. It holds my favorite pins. I have my very favorite rotary cutter. It's weighted, so it helps me again just ergonomically with my wrists. And of course, my clips. So sometimes I'll pin, sometimes I'll use clips. I love them. So these are my most indispensable tools. The other thing, because the seam ripper is an extension of my fingers and I do use it quite a bit, I love this little tool. I think it's called a magic eraser or something, but it's a seam ripper, but I love it for this point right here. And it's just rubber, so it will remove all those little threads when you've ripped out a seam and you have those little, I call them flebbies, it removes them, so I love it.
So tell me, what favorite sewing notions do you like to use? Leave a comment down below.
And I do have scissors. These I don't think are anything special. They're just a gift from one of my fellow quilters. What I like about them is that they have a wider handle. My fingers, yeah, they have a little bit of arthritis in them, so this wider handle really helps me just grab them, snip my threads, and keep moving. And I think that's about it. I have a really fun little sewing machine cleaning out my bob and race area. It's called a cat paw brush. I just thought it was really cute, but makeup brushes will work just as well. And then I do have a stiletto. Nothing special here, just kind of helps when I've got little seams that I want to keep, or points that I want to keep straight when I'm feeding it to the machine. And then a point turner. So those are the tools that I need for the projects we do here in studio. I like to have my favorites with me so that we can keep this ball rolling and show you our finished projects. And there you have it, our behind the scenes tour of our studio here at Arrow Sewing. The only thing I'm still working on is my own personal barista so that I can have coffee at my fingertips. Just kidding. Investing in the right sewing table or sewing cabinet can transform your sewing experience. Whether you opt for a small space-saving portable table or a full-featured cabinet, Arrow Sewing is here to help you choose the one that fits your space, supports your projects, and helps you sew more comfortably and efficiently. Check out our full line at arrowsewing.com and discover your perfect sewing space match. And of course, like and subscribe for sewing tips and tricks, product reviews, and projects. Until next time, from all of us here at Arrow, wishing you happy sewing.